You don't fear failure. Not really. Not the way most people think of it. You can handle a bad result. You can handle a setback. You can handle the specific, temporary, recoverable experience of something not working out. What you cannot handle, what lives underneath every ambition, every standard, every refusal to settle, is something much quieter and much more specific. The possibility that you might just be ordinary. Not bad. Not broken. Not a failure by any external measure. Just average. Just one of many. Just a person without the particular distinction that has, for as long as you can remember, been the organizing principle of how you understand yourself. That fear, the one you've almost never said out loud, is what this video is about. Number 1. Your identity was built on being different, and average means the difference wasn't real. For most intelligent people, the sense of being different didn't begin as arrogance. It began as something quieter, a recognition, early and private, that their mind worked differently than most. That they noticed things others didn't. That they processed faster, went deeper, stayed longer in the questions that most people moved past. The difference. Real. Not performed. Not chosen. And over time, through the recognition of teachers, through the specific friendships with a few people who could keep up, through the private knowledge of what happens when you actually try, the difference became the identity. Not the whole identity. The foundation of it. Psychologists call this distinction-based identity formation, the construction of self-concept around the specific perception of being above average, creating a structural vulnerability. Anything that suggests the perception was wrong threatens not just an achievement but a self. The fear of being average. Not about a grade or a performance. About whether the foundation was real. Number 2. Average means the effort was ordinary, and you can't accept ordinary effort. Here is a specific, rarely named layer of the fear. Intelligent people have, typically, put in real effort. Real hours. Real sacrifice of other things. Real investment in the development of the mind. The effort. Substantial. Made in the implicit belief that it was producing something above ordinary. Something that justified the cost. If the result is average, if after all of it the output is merely normal, then the effort itself becomes ordinary. The sacrifice. For a standard result. The investment. For a standard return. Psychologists call this effort-outcome proportion anxiety, the specific dread of high-investing individuals that their output will not justify the input, that the gap between what they put in and what they produce will reveal not just a performance gap but an identity gap. The fear. Not the average result. The fear. What the average result would say about everything that produced it. Number 3. You use intelligence as protection, and average removes the protection. Being smart is not just an identity for many intelligent people. It is a strategy, a way of navigating a world that is unpredictable, unfair, and often unkind. Intelligence. The tool that has reliably produced options, solutions, advantages. The thing that has consistently been available when other things failed. If the intelligence is average, if it is, actually, only as useful as most people's intelligence, then the protection disappears. The tool that was supposed to keep you safe, revealed as no more reliable than what everyone else carries. Psychologists call this cognitive security dependency, the reliance on perceived above-average intelligence as a primary psychological buffer against the uncertainty and vulnerability of ordinary human experience. The fear of being average. Not abstract. The fear of losing the only protection that has never fully failed you. Number 4. You secretly measure everything, and average means losing the measurement. The intelligent mind compares. Constantly, automatically, with or without permission. Test scores. Quality of thinking. Speed of understanding. Depth of insight. The ability to see what others miss, solve what others can't, go where others don't follow. The measurement. Not always conscious. Running in the background of every intellectual encounter. Producing a quiet, consistent, rarely examined verdict. Above average. Still above average. Still there. The fear of being average. The fear of what happens when the measurement changes. Psychologists call this relative standing dependency, the construction of self-worth around comparative intellectual performance, creating a specific fragility. Any experience that threatens the above-average verdict threatens the entire architecture of self-evaluation. You are not measuring to be cruel. You are measuring because the measurement has always been how you knew you were okay. Number 5. Average means the future is ordinary, and you can't accept an ordinary future. For most intelligent people, the internal narrative of the future is specific, not grandiose, necessarily, not always about fame or wealth or recognition, but different, significant, the kind of life that only a certain kind of mind produces, a future that justifies the particular shape of who you are, the depth, the intensity, the costs of being the person you've always been. If you are average, if the future you are building is simply a normal life lived by a normal person, then the particular costs of your particular mind lose their justification. The loneliness. For what? The exhaustion. For what? The self-editing, the intensity, the inability to be satisfied with less than full depth. All of it, in service of an ordinary outcome. Psychologists call this exceptional destiny orientation, the implicit, often unconscious belief in highly intelligent individuals that their life trajectory is supposed to be qualitatively different from the average, and that an ordinary outcome represents a fundamental misalignment between who they are and what their life became. The fear, not of a bad life, of a life that doesn't match the particular self it was supposed to express. Number 6. You've never fully let yourself be a beginner, because beginners are average. Here is the most practical layer, the one with the most daily cost. Intelligent people avoid beginning things, not out of laziness, out of a specific structural aversion to the experience of being average at something, which is what every beginner is, in every domain before they aren't. The beginner stage, visible, exposing, producing ordinary results. The ordinary results, unbearable to a person whose identity rests on above-average performance. So, the intelligent person stays in domains where they are already above average, avoids the new domain where they would have to be ordinary first, protects the measurement by never entering a competition they might lose. Psychologists call this competence exposure aversion, the avoidance of new domains or challenges in which initial performance would be average, in order to protect the above-average self-concept from the evidence of ordinary beginner performance. The cost: a narrowing life, fewer attempts, less growth. The protection of the measurement at the cost of the experiences the measurement was supposed to make possible. The truth: you are not afraid of failure. You are afraid of ordinariness, of the specific, quiet, devastating possibility that the distinction you've built your sense of self around is smaller than you thought. That you are, in the full scope of human intelligence and capacity, simply one of many. Distinction-based identity formation. Effort outcome proportion anxiety. Cognitive security dependency. Relative standing dependency. Exceptional destiny orientation. Competence exposure aversion. These are not vanity, not arrogance, not weakness. They are the precise architecture of a person who was told, early, clearly, repeatedly, that their value was located in their exceptional mind, and who has been protecting that location ever since. And the reframe, the one this video is built toward, is not that you should stop caring about your mind. It is this: average at one thing, in one moment, in one domain, in one stage of learning, is not the same as being an average person. You are not a measurement. You are not a percentile. You are not the gap between your performance and the mean. You are a person who thinks deeply, feels intensely, cares about quality, and has been afraid, for most of your life, to be simply human in the way all humans are sometimes simply human. Ordinary moments. Ordinary performances. Ordinary days. These are not evidence that the foundation was wrong. They are evidence that you are alive, in the full, imperfect, unexceptional, irreplaceable way that living actually requires. If this video named a fear you've carried without ever saying it out loud, subscribe to Wired Differently. Because the most honest thing an intelligent person can admit is that ordinary terrifies them more than failure. New video every week. Because understanding what you're actually afraid of is the only way to stop letting it run your life. You were never just a measurement. You were always a person. The person, more than enough. Not because they're exceptional. Because they're real. Understand yourself. Understand everyone.